Hello, MassCon people. It's time for the explanation to the card trick I put on my previous blog. The card trick was called Presto Prediction. If you haven't seen the trick yet, go to my previous blog post and take a look at it, and then come back here and watch the explanation. So do that now. Okay, so the card trick Presto Prediction, as the previous post talked about, is a mathematical card trick. So again, there's no sleight of hand involved, but it's still a very cool trick. The trick revolves around what card is on the top of the deck. So I'll just kind of go into the explanation. So what I do is, at the beginning of the trick, is I go through the deck like this, and I pick out a random card. What I'm actually doing is noting what the top card is, and in this case, I've set it up for it to be a 4. You normally, for this trick, you want the top card to be between an ace and a 5. Aces are 1 and 5, and 5 is 5, obviously. But you want it to be a low number, and the reasons for that come out later in the trick. So this is a great trick to start with. Just pull out a box and do it. So try to keep the card between an ace and a 5, and you can do that by setting up the deck. So what you do is, you note what the top card is, and as you're going through the deck to pick a card, you count in this case, we'd be counting in 4 cards. So you count in the number of cards that are on the top of the deck. Or you count in the number of cards that the card represents as a numerical value. So in this case, it's 4. So I'd go 1. So in this case, I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'd note that the 4th card is the 10 of hearts. Now, I'm not going to pick the 10 of hearts as my prediction card. What I'm going to pick is the 10 of diamonds. So the step in that trick is, note the top card, count in that number of cards, and then select the card that's the same number and the same color. So in this case, we're going to find the 10 of diamonds, and that's going to be our prediction card. So we go through the deck. And again, you have to do that all really quickly, and you can't count in, you can't like have your mouth move in like 1, 2, okay. But anyway, so here's the 10 of diamonds right here. So we'll set that face down as our prediction card. Now what you do is, this is where the spectators get involved. And this is why this trick is so effective, is because you really don't do that much except for the first part. The spectators do most of the work in this trick, and that's what makes it so cool, because it seems like they're doing everything and you're kind of letting them do their thing, and then everything works out at the end. So what you do is, you go, I'm going to hand you the deck, and what your instructions to them is, flip the deck face up like this. And they can deal as many cards from the bottom, which is now the top, because we flipped it face up, or like this in a pile. They can do as many as they want. Now, there's 2 rules. The first rule is they can't deal the whole deck, obviously, because we need 2 piles. And the second rule that you have to tell them is they can't pick up a big chunk and do that, because that messes with the pattern. So this is why having a low card on the top becomes important, because you need them to deal to at least your card. So in this case, it's the 10 of hearts, which, as you can see, is the 4th card. So if you put like a 10 or a jack or something up there, a lot of people will do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards and then stop. And the problem with that is they don't get to your card, and so you need them to get to that card. So that's why I say try to keep the top card between an ace and a 5. So they're dealing, they're dealing. You're fine now. Now the trick is done. Their card, or well, the card that matches the one that we have face down, is now in the opposite pile. So they're going. Let's say they stop there. It's really cool, because what you can do is you can say, oh, you want to take a couple cards back? I mean, if you want to, because that'll really throw them. So, they take a couple cards back. It doesn't upset the order of things. So now we've got 2 piles. Now, in my left hand, in this pile, is the card, is the pile that I dealt from, because as you can see, the 4 is still on top. In this pile, the 4th card down is the other red 10. So there's a 4 on the top here, and in this pile, the 4th card down is the other red 10. So what you do is, you have a spectator choose a pile. So say they choose the pile with the 10 in it. So they take this pile. We'll set it there, assuming they have it. So what you then say is, I'm going to flip over the top card in my pile, and you are going to deal face down that number of cards from the top. So you'd flip it over and be a 4. They deal 4 cards down. Now, if it goes the other way, if they choose the pile that was dealt from, they take that pile and they go, and then you will say, okay, now I want you to flip over the top card because now I have the other 10. So they flip over the top card. It's a 4, and then you deal 4 face down. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. The important part to that is you got to remember which pile is which. I've messed that trick up. I've messed that part of it up, and it makes the trick fail miserably. Anyway, so let's just say they choose the pile with the 4 on top. So then you say, okay, flip over the top card, and we'll deal face down that number of cards. So they flip it over, and lo and behold, it's a 4. So now you deal 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Set the rest of the deck aside. Take the 4th card. Set it next to your prediction card. At this point, it's always fun to tell a little story or something. You can kind of be like, there's a 1 in 52 chance, well, 51 actually, because I pulled out 1 card at the beginning of the trick that I did this right. But if I did it right, there's a chance that these 2 cards should match in number and in color. Flip them around, and they do, and you'll wow everybody. Again, that's a mathematical card trick. Just learn the steps, be creative with it, talk, be funny. That's what makes that trick work. But it's an amazing effect for a mathematical trick.